Today's devotion is called No More Regrets, and we are on day 144, and we're on May the 24th. This is the second day and the last day of James. So the morning rinse is James 4 through 5, just those last two chapters. And today's featured verse is James 4:14. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. I wanted my husband on here as a special guest, but he is very camera shy, even worse than my son. And so I'm going to have to just share this story with you, and hopefully you will enjoy it just as much without him. So back in 1999, my husband and I had a life-changing conversation, and this was the year that we got married. And that conversation is the reason for 10 years our kids and I attended church without him at least once a month. It is also the reason that he missed many weekend events. And that conversation went something like this. Nathan, do you have any regrets in life? His response was, well, and initially I shortened it in my devotional. So he said, why do you ask? And I said, well, I'm just asking, like, do you have any regrets? And he answered back and said, well, I actually have two. And I asked him what they were. And he said, well, first, I regret not joining the military after college. And the second regret that I have is not buying my football signet ring when our team went to nationals my senior year at Baker University. And so he was on the football team. And they went to nationals, and, you know, they have these like signet rings. You'll see them when they have the Super Bowl rings that come out and what have you. They have kind of a miniature one for college players. And he actually had made it to nationals, and they offered up this purchase for the players, and they lost. And so he got upset and decided he did not want this ring. And then what happened when it comes to his military story was he graduated from college and was recruiting and, or going to these recruiters to just, you know, hopefully join the military. And apparently there was a recruiter that wasn't doing his job very well. And, you know, it made Nathan kind of irritated and upset. And so he's like, nah, I'm not going to join the military. Well, those were his two regrets that we sat down and talked about. Not joining the military after college and not buying that signet ring his senior year at Baker University. I responded to him and I said, well, I don't know what to say about the ring. And the reason why I'm asking is I don't want to be sitting on our porch overlooking a white picket fenced yard. And at the time, we didn't even live in a white picket fenced yard. Now we do. But I was just hypothetically speaking and saying, I don't want to sit on our back porch with this nice white picket fence when we're, 90 years old. And you say to me, we have had, despite our challenges, a really good life except for these things. And I told him, the kids and I are going to be fine. Go join the military. And his reply was, at my age? And I said, yes, go see if you can join. I don't want to be responsible for you not following what you want to do. And that is exactly what he did. He was 38 years old, and he did not opt to take the easy path by joining as an officer either. He decided to go through basic training, and he started at the bottom. And his reply to me was, you know what? If I'm going to be a soldier, I'm going to join the right way, he told me. And so he went to basic training as an enlisted soldier. He was the oldest guy at basic training, and they called him Grandpa more times than he could count. And that didn't stop him from becoming one of the top soldiers in his unit. He beat out kids that could have easily been his son and could have easily been super fit, but they won. He won some physical competitions and strategic games that they were training in. He was definitely at the top of that unit. Now, as far as the signet ring is concerned, the fun story about this was while he was researching all of the military things and what path to go on that, I had actually uncovered the company who made it from years and years and years ago. And interestingly enough, I had called the coach at Baker University. I called into the football department at Baker University, and the person who answered on the other line actually was his coach from college. And I told him what I was wanting to do, and he opened up his drawer and pulled out the signet ring and told me what company made that mold. And so I looked him up and called him and said, hey, I'm trying to make this ring for my husband. Is there any way possible that this could be done? And they required certain things. They required me to send them a letter from his coach confirming that he was on the team. And in the letter, they required that, letter, the coach to say that they were giving me permission to allow Belger Arts to make it from the original mold. And so I got that letter, and it took them a couple months to actually find the original mold, but they did it. And that whole process of getting that special ring made took, I think, about 6 months. And in the inside of the ring, I had them engrave "No More Regrets" on the inside of the band. And I still remember the joy that I had as I laid this gift under the Christmas tree that year. Hence, no more regrets. And hence why I wanted my husband on here. And this is the story that I have, or the stories that I have regarding we're but a vapor. Let me read that verse again. James 4:14. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. Oftentimes, I haven't honestly always loved that verse. However, as I ponder it, I think I probably know why, is because we want to be more than just a vapor on this earth. We want to make a larger fingerprint than, just when we're gone, we're gone. We want to be significant. We want to create a legacy. We want to be remembered. And yet, I think that the part that is so baffling is that in the grand scheme of time, with thousands and thousands and thousands of years that our earth has been in existence, we are just a fleeting moment, less than 100 years out of those thousands and thousands and thousands of years, those generations. We are just here for a little bit. It's kind of surreal, right? But I also know that we are on this earth for this short amount of time for a reason. So I want you to take a challenge today to dig a little deeper. And I want you to ask God. Ask him if there are any regrets that are in your heart that are not resolved. Some of the regrets are going to be resolved by actually doing something, by going and getting your own quote unquote signet ring purchased, whatever that is. Some of your regrets might be resolved by going and doing the thing that you were wanting to do as a young person, but doing it now. Some of your regrets may be resolved by you realizing that your chance of doing that thing is over, and you're resolving in your heart to do everything you possibly can to get past that moment. Whatever way to resolve those regrets, ask God to help you resolve them. It could be a very exciting journey, just like I asked my husband, do you have any regrets? And just like we both put into action what to do to resolve those regrets. And if God leads you to pursue that thing, then begin today doing it. Write it down. Have this same conversation with someone who is near and dear to you. If you are married, then ask your spouse, do you have any regrets? And if they do, then ask how they can resolve it. Is it just a heart change regarding that regret? Or is it doing something about that regret? Maybe it's being a part of an organization that, you've always wanted to be a part of. And maybe you can't be an active participant, but you can be a leader in it. Who knows what that regret is? But try and talk to your significant other about the regrets and see if there's something that can be done about it. Ask God about that regret and see if there's something that can be resolved about it. You never know. Ask God to use you to help your spouse resolve their regrets if they list any, and ponder an exciting potential journey. I know for me, it was super exciting to spend that 6 months taking all the steps that it needed to be taken to get my husband that original molded signet ring from his college. I still to this day remember going through that process. It was super exciting for me. It was also exciting for those 10 years, almost 11 years, that we watched our leader of our family, my husband, doing the military thing for a while. It was something that I think he would always have regretted. Did he love every minute of it? No. Were there things that he absolutely loved about it? Yes. And was he a good soldier? Yes. He ended up getting out back several years ago, but I know that him going down that path did his heart good. And I'm glad that he experienced it when he did. So your challenge is to ask yourself, do I have any unresolved regrets? And ask your spouse or your loved one if they have any regrets, and see what you can do on a path of resolving those regrets. And it may take a day, it may take months, but I can't wait to hear about these unresolved regrets. And just knowing that we are a vapor on this earth and trying to live our life to the fullness of what we have here is exciting. And as you pull out your journal tonight, write down what transpired today in your conversation with not only God about your regrets, if any, but also write down what your conversation was like with your loved one about their regrets, if they have any. And then write down what resolutions came about. Did you have any resolutions? I'm excited to hear about them. And I was equally excited to share the story about our regrets, or not our regrets, but my husband's regrets and how we got them resolved, and my surprise present to him. And so keep going, keep growing. Realize that just because you have a regret does not mean that you can't resolve it, whether in your heart or physically doing something about it. So until tomorrow, keep rinsing, reflecting, and repeating. And also, too, just so you know, my link to get this journal is in the show notes. And so go ahead and click on those show notes and order your devotional. And then tomorrow, too, we are starting on the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah is also a long book, and we are not going to finish the book of Jeremiah by the end of this month. Jeremiah is one of those long books that actually goes into another month. So Jeremiah is going to be partially in May and then partially in June. So tomorrow starts that book. So we're back in the Old Testament. So go ahead and get prepared for that. And I'm excited to continue walking through the Bible alphabetically with you. So again, until tomorrow, keep rinsing, reflecting, and repeating. God bless you.